So I'm back after the weekend. It's Monday morning, and what do you know, it's overcast yet again. I'm not surprised, to be honest. It's usually that way because over the weekend it was absolutely beautiful, bright, sunny, yellow yellow sky. That would be a little problematic if it would be yellow sky. That would mean full out atomic war. That wouldn't be good. But no, fortunately no yellow sky, but blue sky. And it was crazy warm. I mean, you wouldn't believe how scorching warm it was. It was about 29 degrees on the sun in April. I mean, and not just in any April, in the beginning of April, right? 29, it was crazy. Like, really, like, you couldn't stay too long on the sun, which is just unbelievable. So it was extremely high. It felt like middle of summer, really straight from the summer, like August. So that was the weekend. And today is like, it's still warm. It's around 12 degrees, just very high, considering it's 7:30 or something. And there's no sun. It's overcast. But I don't know, if I'm completely honest, I like the lightning, I like the sun, I like the blue sky. But I'm not good with the heat. I don't like when it's too warm. And when I saw it yesterday, when it was like this 29 on the sun, I was like, damn, what awaits us in the summer if the spring barely started and it's 29 on the sun. Yeah, crazy. So yeah, that was the weekend, and no rescues happened over the weekend. I think I dreamt of a rescue, actually. Oh yeah, I did. Damn, I now had a memory of like rescuing a bird, but then I realized it was in the dream. Oh yeah, I was rescuing a bird in a dream, and it was this beautiful. Yeah, I even remember a Latin name, which was Emberiza Millet, which I don't even know if it exists, but I came up with it in a dream. And it was this yellowhammer-like bird with like a similar beak, but it had yellow color, it had like dark brown, but it also had pink color. It had a lot of pink and black, and it looked very exotic, but I was sure I know it. I was like, yeah, this is this. I cannot remember which one is it. And I was certain that it's a bird that I know, and then I came up with the name Emberiza Millet. I don't freaking know why. Anyway, that was a dream. That didn't happen. Or maybe it did in another dimension, who knows. By the way, this is absolutely spectacular. The cherry trees bloomed in all that heat, obviously, it happened. And just look at this. I mean, this is my favorite site. One of my favorite sites, I mean. It's just gorgeous. Look at that. And I especially love how the cherry trees are kind of old and gnarled, and then they come to bloom. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? And the smell. If you could smell it, that's just fantastic. Wow. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. It's definitely, I don't know, I would say my top moment in the whole year, probably. Along with autumn. I love autumn when all the colors are bright and vibrant and all the leaves are yellow and orange and fiery colors, and I love that. But this is very close. I mean, they're both like my top seasons of the year. Look at that. I mean, how beautiful is that? And I think these blackthorns are not in full bloom yet. The cherry trees, however, are. And look at, like, when you look at it, how many cherry trees? That's probably not spare. It's just what I'm saying. Pear. It's a pear tree, and it has a brighter colored petals. It's actually like greenish white. So that's kind of a different color. All these, the cherry trees, they have kind of like, there is a little bit of like a red hue, if it makes any sense, like pinkish. Well, when you check that one, that's a cherry tree, the one on the right, and compare it with that one, do you see it? There's like a hue. That one has a green hue and that one has a pink hue. They're both white, but distinctively different. And it's something I notice on the garden as well. It's like the white of the pear tree flowers is just different white than the cherry tree white, and it's probably a little different than the apple tree white. Yeah. So that's interesting. Also, I found it interesting. Drejko, co to máš? Drejko. No, fuj je to. I knew that. I thought he's got a stick. He's got a branch. But then I was like, that crunches. That doesn't sound like a. Oh, of course. Yeah, it's a bone. It's another bone. Check it out. Yep, another bone from the carcass that we haven't found. But Drake keeps finding bones. And to his dismay, I always come in and prevent him from chewing on it. I was wondering, and I don't know this really, but I find it interesting that so many flowers in the spring are white. So many of them are white. You know, isn't that interesting? I mean, of course, loads of those trees are kind of the same sort of, at least a family. Like there are like cherry trees, there are like prune trees, and so various like Prunus sort of family. And what do we have? Yeah, we have pears and so on. So they're kind of like, you know, they're all somehow related. And well, cherry and prune is probably not related, but like, you know what I mean, like they're kind of like similar, and there's a lot of them, so they have white flowers, so maybe it's because of that. But like I feel like loads of those flowers are white, and especially the first flowers, right? The first flowers that you see are white, at least here in Central Europe. And it makes me wonder why, you know, why the white color? What is the evolutionary advantage of that? Like, how do the insects see the white? And yeah, I mean, if you have an answer to that, like, I mean, feel free to step in and comment. I would be happy to learn about that. I'll check it out myself, see if I can find anything on that. But I always found it interesting that so many of those flowers are white, and different shrubs. Like, I mean, we have multiple species of shrubs. We have like, I don't know, 25 different native shrubs on the garden, and most of them are white when they flower. So that's very interesting to me. And I was saying, like, they're kind of related. They're not. I mean, come on, they're just fruit trees, right? I mean, you have, like here, for instance, you have a pear tree. I meant more like, you know, like for instance, Prunus. There's loads of different. There's like the classic prune that you eat, and there's a blackthorn, which is also Prunus, and there's a lot of shrubs there. So these are related, obviously, and they're white, right? And then you have cherry trees, and you have classic cherry tree, which you eat, but then you also have the wild cherry and the birch cherry, and these kind of wild cherries, which are different species, but they're related too with the classic cherry. So that's what I meant. Just to clarify, I don't think that a pear and a cherry is related in any way. Just so that you know that I didn't lose my mind. Yeah. Oh, by the way, there. Now we hear it nicely. Damn it! That's a blackbird. hopefully we're hearing it again. Blackcap, you know, I wanted to focus your attention on that. We're singing up there. But now we have blackbird. Oh, they say blackcap or blackbird? Now I'm confused too. Jesus Christ. There's a blackbird singing now over there somewhere. And it's, yeah, that's a blackbird. And it's like slower, sort of more peaceful and more melancholic, let's say. Now blackbirds, blackcap sounds very, or quite similar, but it's much faster, higher pitched, and more chaotic. It's definitely not a sort of a, it's not a very relaxing sort of song, you know, whereas blackbird sounds as if he's singing you a lullaby, you know, for you to go to sleep. It sounds that way to me. And blackcap song is more powerful and more, you know, it has more oomph to it, and it's more piercing with the pitch. We're hearing it again. We're hearing it again for sure. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, the white flowers. I'll find out about that. I'll try and figure out why white. Not on my own, obviously. I mean, I'm gonna check on Google and see if I can find anything. I'm sure there is a reason for it behind it. I'm sure there is something that was discovered and, you know, through science uncovered or something. So I'm gonna try and figure that out on Google. And that's a chiff-chaff. And I think I was saying something else, but oh yeah, the warmth. And now it's overcast. Still pretty warm though. I have a sort of a, not a jacket on, but, you know, long sleeved thing, and I'm already feeling too warm. I've got long trousers, and damn, I'm definitely too warm right now. Too warm. Yeah, I think I'm gonna start walking with. I'm also gonna not stop wearing these neoprene boots, and I'm gonna start wearing like a open one, sort of sandals, because it's really crazy warm. And I think, frankly, it can come back. The winter can come back, because, you know, April can be a pretty crazy month when it comes to weather. So what do we know? Maybe next week it can snow. You know, it can actually happen, truly. I remember multiple times there was snow in April, so, and it was in the middle of April or something. So we can still expect that, you know, even though everything is in bloom, there still can be something crazy like that. What I hear is the beautiful, singing right in front of us is a blackcap. That is a blackcap. Beautiful. Yeah, so that is absolutely textbook example of a blackcap. And we finally hear it nice and clearly. So that's that. That's a blackcap. Now it flew somewhere over there, if you could see it. So yeah, that was a blackcap. And now we probably heard it. Finally. And yep. By the way, I was pretty upset in the morning when I was walking uphill before I turned on the camera. There are kids in the street. That's not what I'm upset about. Those kids today. Those kids these days. And I mean, this kind of topic I want to talk about is kind of these kids these days. But it's not really these kids these days, you know. It's just kids that lack a proper guidance, you know. And they lack a proper sort of a role model in their family. And I know, you know, like you could say, oh yeah, you know a lot, right? Because you have like 3 kids. I don't have any. So I can only go so far in sort of theory and what I feel like. I mean, I'm talking out of my intuition. I haven't read any books on parenting. I haven't read any you know, I haven't followed any videos on YouTube, or haven't done any courses on any of that, you know. So I know absolutely, like in terms of like practical knowledge, I know. And now, like, no, I'm not gonna say fuck all. I already did. I know fuck all. Seriously, I don't know anything, right, from practical knowledge. But I was a kid too, and I went through my childhood where well, things could have been different, right? I mean, and a lot of us that are adults now know that. Lots of the things that happened could have been different, and they could have been better, but they could have been worse too, you know? I mean, that's just life. But I was a kid, and I know what was not working on me and what I needed now retrospectively as an adult. And that is an experience too, right? From the other side, being a kid. And that's a valid experience, you know. I don't think you necessarily have to be a parent. Of course, that also gives you a completely different perspective. And until you experience that, you can never know, you know, and you'll never know what it feels like. But you've been there. You have been the kid on the other side. You know, you've been there. So don't forget that you've been a kid that has been treated some way. Do you want yourself to be treated that way as a kid? So that's just one of the questions that just got to me, like one of the things that got to me now. An interesting perspective is, you know, like, do you want to be that kind of parent, you know? But that's not what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about is that those kids, it's not their fault. They're kids, right? They're 7, 8 years old. So, or 6 maybe even. So they're not responsible. I mean, to an extent they are, but they're not responsible for the, like, for their being, for their state of being. They are direct sort of result and product of their parents' upbringing and of their parents' influence and of their parents' sort of of their parents, essentially, you know. So of course part of it you got genetically, but then so much of it you get from your experiences as a kid in those first 7 years of your life with your parents, and how they treat you, and how they treat each other, and so on and so forth. But the reason I was upset this morning is because there was a lot of plastic wraps from like candies, you know, and it happens all the freaking time. I've even seen them doing it because I have a window, right, pointing up to on the road, and I seen them do it. They just eat something, they throw the wrap away, you know, onto the field, on the grass in there, and then it gets blown out somewhere, and they do it all the freaking time. They even laugh at it, you know. They just unwrap it, they throw it somewhere, and they're like, haha, that's so much fun, littering the environment. But they're not at fault. It's not their fault. They're kids, you know. They don't know they don't know any better, you know. It's for them, it's a game. They don't see the consequences. They don't know that we're drinking microplastics for I don't know how long now, and we're eating it in our food because of us littering the environment to the point where it's everywhere now. In our bloodstream, you have microplastic in our... Draco! Tady jdeme, pojď. I took a little bit of you know, I prolonged the walk a little bit so I can finish what I was saying. Good boy. By the way, hear that? Wow. What the hell? I don't know what that was, to be honest. Was it a jay? Weird jay? I have no idea, but it flew high and it got on top of the tree. Interesting. I don't know. I think it was a jay maybe, but maybe I'm wrong. See, even I don't know everything when it comes to birds. It was a bird, but I don't know which one. It sounded actually like a pheasant, but it was flying very high up on the tree, so you know, maybe it was a jay imitating a pheasant. But what I was gonna say, you know, they don't know the full story. They don't know the consequences. For them, it's just a game. So rap, they don't know it takes hundreds of years for it to decompose and to break down. And when it breaks down into a microplastic and gets into our system. It gets into our bloodstream, it gets into our food, it gets into our water, and it causes a whole lot of fucking problems. But they don't know. For them, it's a candy, it's fun, it's being with friends, it's throwing it out, nobody cares, there's no repercussions, there's no comeback for them. Like, there is no repercussions, nothing, you know, and no responsibility either, because they're kids. So who is at fault there? Well, the parents, obviously, you know. The parents. There's no other answer but the parents, you know. And I don't know, I was just upset because I'm like, you know, I saw them driving them on motorcycles, and I just can't help but think, you know, is this what you're teaching your kids, you know? Like, I don't want to be hatred towards, like, people that love motorcycles. I mean, maybe I'm just missing on something, and, like, you know, motorcycles are great. Some of them are beautiful, I agree, especially the old ones, the vintage ones. But is this what you want to teach your kids? To rev your engines and throw out the garbage? I mean, sorry, man. I mean, that doesn't seem like a great, you know, message to the new generation, in my opinion. And it just, I don't know, it just made me upset, really, because I see it all the time there. I throw it out myself sometimes, like when I go around and I see it there, I take it and throw it in the trash can for them, you know, because their parents not gonna do it, right? And so I'm sort of saving the situation. And I even thought about going out and telling them myself, you know, but hell, I'm not a freaking parent, you know, and I don't want to be some kind of a crazy, you know, hermit guy that just comes out in his shorts and, you know, starts saying something to them, you know. Like, I don't want to be creepy uncle guy that has problem with this and that, you know. It's not my role, to be honest. I'm not their parent, you know. It should be the role of the parents to do this kind of thing. So I don't know, I just wanted to share that because it made me upset, and upset in a way I was angry, you know. I was like, is this really what you're teaching your kids? Is this really the example you're giving them? And maybe the parents don't know, but that's the thing. You gotta be that, you know, you gotta be that role model without forcing it onto the kids. You know, they have to see it in you. They have to be inspired by you, just by you being the way that you are, you know. You don't have to force it onto them. You just don't be an asshole, you know. I mean, it's just like, just be a good, decent human being that, you know, cares about other human beings and other beings in general, and the planet and the environment, and it's all that it takes, you know. And here to say a couple of words here and there about recycling, about plastics and all that, and that's all it takes, you know. Anyway, yeah, maybe I'm seeing it all too easily, and then, you know, people can say, yeah, but you never had kids, and if you would know how, you know, you tell them something and they do it completely other thing, and, you know, hell, maybe, I don't know. I just feel like this is sort of the role of the parents, and I feel like this is their responsibility, you know, and should be setting that example, that positive example, to guide the kids not to do this kind of thing. So whenever something like that happens and kids do these things, even when they're like hurting animals and all that, I always see that is the failure of the parent. It gotta be like, what else would it be than that, right? I mean, the kid is a kid, you know. They don't know any better unless you show them, unless you guide them, right? Anyway, so that's just my little rant about candy wraps thrown around on the street. Yeah, and that's all. I'm gonna sign off with that.